absolute oneness is more in line with God's nature than the Trinity.
And even more scary, if God can change to become a relational God, then that means he can change again and decide that he doesn't want to be a relational God.
Do you believe that the persons of the Trinity are merciful to one another? Because mercy in this instance would imply that one of the persons of the Trinity is doing something wrong. The Quran is the final revelation of God.
The miracle of the Quran is that Muhammad is illiterate, but he gets all these things right.
We believe that the Quran comes and it corrects aspects of the previous scriptures that were changed by the hands of man.
The Quran actually obviously affirms the previous scriptures, and the second Muhammad finds those previous scriptures for the world to see.
Jesus is a Muslim.
I think we can't divorce Judaism from this conversation. Jesus was Jewish. He followed Jewish traditions. He was born of Jews. So if we're going to say anything, Jesus was a Jew.
Allah rejects being a father in every sense. How can the Jesus that taught us to pray to our Father, how can he be Muslim?
I believe that Jesus was a Muslim. Obviously, external to the Bible, I believe that this theology is reflected within the Quran. The crucifixion of Jesus is not a well-established historical event.
I think that's interesting because the crucifixion of Jesus is the most well-known historically attested event.
There is still documentation coming out today about archaeologists finding Old Testament like journals and stuff written on stone tablets claiming that they saw Jesus after he rose from the dead.
Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the final messenger of God.
Another requirement for prophethood is continuity. There is no continuity with Muhammad.
You have to preach the exact same God. If you concede that the prophets of the Old Testament did not preach the Trinity, then you can say that, for example, it wasn't fully revealed and so on and so forth.
Is there someone that you're thinking you may want to have a deeper conversation with?
I felt like this person had some substance to offer, and I did want to be able to retort to all of it.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Dr. Dab Show. Today I'm here with one Muslim woman, Cora, having a conversation with 20 Christians. Cora came up with her own prompts. So we're really excited about this conversation. I'll give you the floor.
All right, for sure. My first prompt is absolute oneness is more in line with God's nature than the Trinity. My name's Cora.
My name is Shanasa.
My name is Ty.
My name is Iore.
My name is Sierra.
All right, perfect. Nice to meet all of you guys. The reason why I chose this prompt is coming from a Muslim perspective. I don't believe that the Trinity is portrayed anywhere in God's divine revelation. I believe that God is absolutely one, both in essence and in personhood. And I do also believe, and you are going to conflict with this, that the Trinity entails polytheism. What do you guys think about that?
I disagree, obviously. I believe that if God is strictly monotheistic, it actually serves more problems than it solves. For example, I would be curious to know from you, what would prompt a God who is strictly monotheistic, alone, and essentially isolated to decide to become a relational God? That would mean that he went from being alone at one point in time, and then he changed to become a relational God in order to create creation. And the issue is that he essentially change. And if God can change, then I would conclude that God is not eternal. And even more scary, if God can change to become a relational God, then that means he can change again and decide that he doesn't want to be a relational God. But the distinction is that with the Trinity, we have a God that has always been relational because he's triune in his nature. We have a God that is love by his very essence. So when he decides to create creation and relate to them, it's not a foreign concept to him, unlike it would be with Allah. The Quran, as you know, introduces nearly every surah with the most merciful and the most benevolent. And my problem with that, again, is how would Allah be able to be merciful if he is strictly monotheistic? And in order to demonstrate that mercy, he would have to have become a relational God.
Okay, perfect. So do you believe that the persons of the Trinity are merciful to one another? Because mercy in this instance would imply that one of the persons of the Trinity is doing something wrong. And also another point that I wanted to touch on is, you said that there's a problem with, and I'm going to quote your words verbatim, God being strictly monotheistic. So you don't believe strict monotheism?
Not in the sense of Tawhid. Now, to answer your second question, mercy is something that is relational, but it's a derivative of love. Allah, to my understanding, isn't love. So if God, who is love and who has always been love, becomes a relational God, the natural derivative would be to be merciful. What essentially I'm saying is it's not an extension for a God who has always been love to when he comes into relationship with someone else to be mercy. But a God that is not love, it would be foreign to him to all of a sudden be merciful.